My name is Nick Moreau. I'm an artist blacksmith based in Pownell, Maine. I really fell in love with the process of blacksmithing and the combination of force and control and creativity that the medium allows you. One of the beautiful things about blacksmithing is there's this incredible history and tradition in the craft. I come from a family of metalworkers on my mom's side, so my grandfather and my great-grandfather were welders and had a welding shop in Queens, New York in the 1920s called Wicks Welding. And then during World War II, he ran a welding school where they taught a lot of female welders actually for like the war effort, working on ships and that kind of thing, doing welding. So that was called Wicks Welding School. And so when I started my business, I kept the family metalworking name, and that's why it became Wicks Forge. My grandfather didn't do blacksmithing, so he wasn't heating up and shaping metal. He did more welding and fabrication. But the cool thing about those two professions is there's a lot of the same tools. Like the anvil that I'm sitting on right now is my great-grandfather's anvil. And all of the hammers that I use, for the most part, are hammers that I got from my grandfather that he used in his business. This is a propane forge, and it's what's called a forced air forge. The forge is basically the same idea as an oven, but it just gets a lot hotter and it's insulated a lot better. The forge is the tool that you use to heat up the metal. And every time you put metal in the forge and take it out and work it, it's called a heat, because it's like the point of time while the metal is hot. And you have a very limited amount of time that the metal retains its heat. It gets very, very hot, and then you take it out and it starts cooling down right away. So while you're working it as fast and as quickly as you can, you also have to really take care and patience. This is our finished product. It's a set of linked hearts. What we have here is some different types of pieces and in various stages from the starting material through to the finished product. So here we have a nice little gazelle or antelope wall hook. All right, so here we have just a nice fire poker with a brass wire brush finish on the leaf. So we have this nice twist pattern here. So this would be called like what's called like a reverse twist pattern, where the metal twists one way and then the other way. This sort of irregular pattern only can be done while the metal's hot. So it kind of is like a thumbprint that tells you this piece was made by hand and was worked by hand. As an artist blacksmith, what I do is a combination of functional and ornamental ironwork, things ranging from as small as like letter openers and bottle openers to custom gates and railings that have a lot of ornamental and forged elements. What I really love about making music stands, they've kind of become like a sort of specialty of our shop. Music is a very inspirational force for a lot of people, and so I really like the idea of doing something that supports and inspires musicians. We have all this modernization and iPhones and connectivity, but people are still finding something is sort of missing from everyday lives. And I think with that, there's been a real resurgence in demand for like local, handmade, handcrafted.
I'm Jonah. I'm a 16-year-old, actually I'm 17 now. I'm a 17-year-old blacksmith from Maine, and I work here at the Wicks Forge with Nick Wicks. Today we're making a kitchen knife. I have a knife I finished a couple days ago, so that's like the finished product there.
I saw some people making forges and using like rocks as anvils on YouTube, and I thought that was really cool, and so I pestered my dad for a really long time to help me make a forge. Me and him designed a forge out of a basic brake drum, and we cast it with refractory and just started banging on hot metal on a really bad anvil in the back of my yard. I was going down to the Common Ground Fair, and we were looking around at blacksmith shops with Jonah, looking for people to work for, and Jonah stopped by Wicks Forge, and we saw Nick there. Jonah started working for him, and later on he convinced Nick to let me come along, and we've been the 3 blacksmiths here for a little while now.
Blacksmithing is still a very sort of niche and specialty trade, and it's definitely a challenge to make a living out of it, but I think that it's not unique to small business owners. It's always something where you have to be willing to work very hard and put the time in to grow and expand your client base and your business.
What I just did was define in the mustache and the beard, but that's basically the shape of a wizard's face.
I think a lot of folks that are getting into crafts these days, they're also tech savvy, so I can have a direct interaction with someone across the world, but still be creating that sense of community and supporting handmade and that aesthetic. So it's this kind of like transitioning these historical crafts into modern society so that they're still vibrant and there's still a place for them.